Hi, so we're going to get an AI in our database that is running on Postgres. Hi, so we are going to implement AI in our Postgres database running on Docker. So we are getting data from an API and we are loading it to a database Postgres running on Docker. And then we can visualize the data using the Beaver. And then we're going to implement a connection using OpenAI, that's the ChatGPT, and we're going to query data that we want using natural language. We're going also to implement English or Kiswahili in this database. So it's a project that you want to look into, and more is yet to come. Implementing this is just a simple way with when you use AI agents, then the capabilities are immense. And this is just simple data where we have weather data. Imagine what it can do to sales data. Yeah. And we are going to get right into this project. I be a instructor, Simon Gugi, data engineer. Yeah, let's get right into this. So let's get your AI into your Postgres. So some prerequisites, if you want to reach where I've reached this timetable, I have these two videos. So built an ELT pipeline, part 1 and part 2. Make sure that you watch the two videos. So this is where we'll continue from. Yeah. So if you want to do this project exactly like mine, then you'll need to have to watch this and implement the project. And while at it, share, like, and subscribe. And so I think let's get right into the project. And so as you can see here, we have the ETL DAG. All these we have created in the previous pipeline. By the way, I've shown how to do all these, and we have our data in Postgres. Here, and I've used the Beaver to connect. So here is our data. So this is what you're going to be connecting to. And to connect to that, there is this env file, and this is where we're going to create some data to interact with. So there will be the host, so the configurations, the host, the port, the user, the password, the database, and the OpenAI API key. Yeah, so I think let me just copy paste the five of them, the six of the five of them. So here, so for now I'll show you the API key, but after when this video is up, the API key will have already deactivated. So it's something you need to subscribe to and pay. Yeah, and pay to get this API key. So the local host, the PG host, the port, the user, the password, and the password and the database. So all this, it's available in the Docker Compose. These are the settings. Make sure they are the same. So we have the user, the password, the DB, and the port. Yeah. So make sure that you watch the previous video, as I am insisting on that. Yeah. So we'll come and create this app.py. So this app.py is the function that or the script that you're going to be interacting with to get our data. Yeah. So it's not that complicated. I will also add that it's very simple. If you have created a chatbot before, then it will be very, very easy. I will add that, or fair easy to do this. Yeah, so I think we should get right. For this, you're in luck. I'm going to code along with you. Yeah, so you're going to load these variables from the env file that you're creating. So from do.tnv tn My laptop, by the way, has so many things running right now, so it might be slower. So we are going to load the to import the TNB, and going to load this. This should be in another line. Sorry, I'm going to load. Oh, this autocorrect chat completion with Copilot. Yeah, and then you're going to import some libraries. Yeah, so we're going to import Streamlit. We're going to access the web UI. We're going to OS to access the environment variables. You have the Psycho PG2 connects to PostgreSQL. OpenAI communicates with OpenAI's API. Traceback displays readable error traces. If I would describe it as that. So you're going to import Streamlit. Import well, if you want to import OS, so import OS. So import Streamlit as SD, and we have import. Then we have this to connect to my Postgres. Yeah, Psycop2. And then we have from OpenAI import OpenAI. Yeah, and import traceback. Traceback. Yeah, and for the requirements.txt, I forgot to say that we'll have to install these. If you have not installed them, you'll have to install them through the terminal. So go back. Yeah, and yeah, so we are going to, from here, we are going to initialize the OpenAI client, and we have, so the client name is just the, what do we call it? The variable, yeah, the variable. So client is equals to OpenAI API key os.getEnv. Yeah, that's the right thing. And we're going to create a client to interact with OpenAI using API key. And why we do this, it allows you to ask GPT models to generate things from the prompt that you will input. Yeah. And we can go to prompt definition for generating SQL query. Yeah, so you're going to come here, SQL prompt, SQL prompt, and we have this. Of course, we have this is threes, and we have you're an expert. So this we are going to give it a role. But if you have not worked in, this something that will come in handy. So you want to prompt something, give the AI agent or the AI that you are communicating with a role. Yeah. So you are an expert at translating natural language to SQL into SQL for Postgres. Into SQL for Postgres. For Postgres SQL. Yeah. So we're going to have something else. I'm going to tell it to avoid group by. Avoid group. group by. So group by unless necessary. Unless where it's necessary. And so it's just one table, so we don't need whatever Copilot is telling me. I'm going to close this. I should close this. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so it's good. Yeah, so it's ranked the ChatGPT to behave. So you're telling it, yeah, you're telling it a prompt basically, maybe. Yeah, so you are going to give it the database name, and you're going to give it the columns. Yeah, and we are going to give it some instruction. You must always return only the SQL query as plain text. We have no markdown, and then we are going to give it a way of thinking. So how will we handle complex queries like, so I think this, because it's big, I think I just copy paste this. Yeah, so I think I just copy paste this. I've already done this project, so that it becomes easier to, and the video becomes shorter. So yeah, so you're an expert in translating SQL into Postgres. So the database is called where the data has the following columns. So you must always return only the SQL query as plain text, no markdown, no code formatting. Handle complex queries. Yeah, complex queries like getting the city with the highest temperature. So select city where, yeah, so that's subquery. So getting average. So you'll of course have to group by if you have used an aggregation function. Yeah. So well, it will test. It's just not creating, it will test your skills in SQL, and that's why I say, and it's said often, that SQL is one of the most in-handy tools that you will use in your day-to-day life. Yeah, so get familiar with that. Yeah. So we are going to, so the next thing that you're going to do, we are going to get the SQL from the Open API. So it's a function, the question and the prompt. So we have given it a role, we've given it the content, the system, and the user. So I think this is, you can get all this, whatever I'm doing, if you don't understand, from the Open AI API. Yeah. Yeah. So with this, it allows you to answer the question. Yeah. So yeah, so with the prompt that I've given it, remember we have a prompt, SQL prompt here. We're going to create a function to generate SQL from a question. So the question that you have, going to give it how to answer. So just guiding, so it should give SQL from OpenAI. So OpenAI is the one that will generate the SQL. So function, so get OpenAI response, OpenAI response. So we have two parameters. So we have question and prompt. Yeah. So we have response. Now we won't have a try exact block. Client the chart completion create. Yeah. Then the model that you're using is the GPT 3.5 Turbo. So we have so 3.5 Turbo. So we have messages, role, user, and here you have content and prompt. So the prompt that we input prompt. Yeah, and we are going to have the other one for question. So well, it's just basically what it was. It had done. It had given me. Yeah, temperature. I'm not going to give it. I'm not going to define here maximum tokens. Not yet. So I'm going to return. So we return response. Yeah, so response choices. Yeah, so 0 and content dot strip. Yeah, so yeah, and then we are going to detect the language from the question. So we are going to give it like detection prompt, like which language is this. So and then you're going to give it another role that now you are a language detector, since we are using Kiswahili and English. Yeah, so definition detect language from question. Yeah, so and then we are going to have a detection prompt, and this f string, so f formatted string. So we have detect the language. Okay, so I think from there, so I give it what language is this? Is this? Yeah, so respond with only the language name, the language name, the language name. So we have two for now, and I want to give it two that can only communicate with English or Kiswahili. So like English or Kiswahili. Yeah. So these two languages. Yeah. So we're going to end this and a question at the end. Yeah, so response client taps on create, then you have the model 3.5 turbo messages, role user. So we are going to give it here detection prompt, and this I'll give it content that now here you are a language detector, a language detector. Yeah, and now the user, now you are, now here we are going to give it the role now detection with the detection prompt. Yeah, and we're going to return. We're going to return content.strip, and I want to also lower everything, lower the all every my answer. So we are going to get an explanation. Now from here, we are going to create another prompt that we want an explanation for whatever you're doing. Yeah. So the user asks this question, and the SQL generated is now this query. So we are going to have an explanation to the user why this query was chosen, the reasoning and the goal, and briefly describe what the query does. Yeah, so we are only going to respond in the language that it was set, and we are going to start with, I decided to write this query because, so all these, I think, yeah, I will, let me copy paste this, just write. I think now the video is becoming too long. Wanted just this to be a short one. Yeah, so we'll have that. Yeah, so we have, let me charge a bit, put in the charger. Yeah, oh, yeah, it's good now. Yeah, so we have this from here, from this function. So we are going to detect language question. Yeah, okay, not there. Lower, so yeah. Yeah, so from this function, yeah, we have explain SQL query. So SQL and question and the language. So you already, the user asked now this question and the SQL generated is this. So explain to the user why this query was chosen, briefly describe what it does, respond only in the language, start with I decided, then explanation. And then here it has system, you are explain your queries naturally in the user's language. So if they asked in English, return only in English. Yeah, and now we are going to run the SQL query on Postgres. Yeah, so we are going now to use the connection, the SciCop to connect, and you're going to connect the PG host, the port, the user, the password, and the database. Yeah. So is going to run on this. So another function. Yeah. And then the Streamlit UI. Yeah. So ask question about. So we are going to set the title, ask question English or Kiswahili, and then the Streamlit title, and then the question, enter the question, and then we have a submit button. Yeah, and then you're going to generate SQL and it should have something like running. Yeah, a very simple thing. And yeah, the let me just copy paste this. Yeah, so we should just have so this will be the title, ask question about the weather. So enter in English or Swahili, and yeah, submit button and generating. So it should spin generating as it thinks, and as it loads, it should have a message when spinning, generating SQL query and running query. So subheader generated SQL and should give me the SQL, why this query, the explanation for now the query and the results. So what's the output? It should give me in a table like format, not other ones that I've seen with gets and commas. Commas, I mean COMMA. Yeah. So although it's not bad, but what I'm saying is just this is a bit more arranged. Yeah. Yeah, and we should come here and since you're in our yeah, and you should come to the terminal and run. So yeah, we should now come to our terminal and run this the Streamlit app. So we should Streamlit Streamlit run. So our app name is app.py, and we should hope it runs. Yeah, so open on your browser. Yeah. So here it is. Let me just bring it here as it loads. So it's a bit slow, but yeah, so the UI, it's not, yeah, no, it's complete. So as you can see, our data from our our database, we have some cities with temperature, well, feels like minimum temperature, maximum temp, pressure, humidity, wind speed, wind direction, weather code. And well, this is the weather data from the API, all that you can get, meaning that you can get your sales data. And by the way, if you want to have some very good queries, smart queries, yeah, you can get this in your sales data. And I might be streaming, no, after this, I'll create an agent that's more smart. But after some time, might be creating a streaming data where we are streaming data from Kafka, and we will see whether it can do a better work than humans. So let me ask it a question on temperature. Yeah. So let me say it. I have a very big cold and very sick. I don't want to travel to a cold place. So look, I'm not telling it use the temperature column. So I don't want to travel to a cold place. And I also don't want to travel to a very hot place. Give me 2 locations. Then I choose one. Let's see if it's as smart as I think it is. So it's generating SQL and running query. Yeah, so why this query? So it gave me query results here to give me, so it's here to give me, so it's Vika and Rio de Janeiro. So I decided, so the query, so it's subquery and then we have an union. Yeah. So I decided to write this query because you mentioned you want to avoid both hot and cold, both very cold and very hot places due to your illness. This query aims to find you 2 locations with two moderate temperatures and not too hot, not too cold. This query selects the cities and temperature from weather data table where the temperature falls within a specific range. The range is determined by finding the minimum temperature above average temperature and the maximum temperature below the average temperature. By combining these two subsets, the query provides with 2 locations that are neither too hot nor too cold to your comfort. So from this data, it's actually performing very good. The coldest area, so if you look at the coldest area, has to be Vancouver. So Vancouver is here, 10.39. Also, we have Chicago, 9.96. I think that's the coldest. 9.07 is London. And the highest is New Delhi, 41. So it's between 41 and 9. It has given me 20. Let me look. So it has given me 21 and 23. So I think it's pretty fair, pretty smart. And imagine this is not SQL agents, or this is not AI agent. It's just normal AI. Yeah. So let me do this in Kiswahili. Kiswahili, I will give it a query. If you won't understand it, I'll give it a query that sitaki mahali kuna upepo mkubwa, although that I'll be giving it direct that you should use wind speed. So humidity, wind speed, minimum temperature, maximum temperature, wind direction, feels like temperature. Well, let me give, since we are limited by the data, let me give it a question around temperature. Ninahimizwa na daktari nisiende wala kusafiri mahali kuna baridi. Nipe mahali kuna baridi sana. Nipe miji miwili ambayo naeza safiri ambayo haina baridi. Let's see if it will understand if it's daktari when I say so. The query for anyone does not understand Kiswahili, I'm saying the doctor has told me not to travel to place that is cold. Yeah. So yeah, sorry. So we have we're not in so baridi sana, so mahali kuna kusafiri mahali kuna baridi, nina homa. Nahimizwa na daktari nisisafiri mahali mji baridi. Mji unao baridi. Yeah, so yeah, that was the English query, and now let's give it a Kiswahili query. And nataka kusafiri mji ambao una joto jingi. Una joto jingi. Nipe mji moja. So I'm asking it to give me a city that does not have a lot of heat or temperature, joto. Yeah, so it should give me one city. So select, so it's selecting a city with selecting a city with the lowest temperature. So I decided to write this query because unauliza kuhusu mji ambao hauna joto jingi. Hili swali inachagua mji ambao una joto chini zaidi kulingana na data ya hali ya hewa ulionayo. Get query hii inachagua jina la mji ambao una kwenye data ulionayo. It has repeated that, so it has given me London. Nipe mji mmoja. So I want it una joto jingi wala baridi nyingi. So I want a city that's neither too cold nor too hot. Yeah, she had given me a, so it's not result. Nimeamua kuandika swali hili jina kwa sababu liomba jiji. Nipe mji mmoja wenye hewa nzuri. Yeah. Okay, so I decided to shift a bit. So nimeamua kuandika, so it has decided to give me these cities, the one that's medium. Kipande cha SQL kinaangalia hali ya anga, weather data, kuchagua mji ambao ina joto kati ya 15 na 25 na upepo chini ya 5. Yeah, so it looks at the cities with less wind speed and a temperature between 15 and 25. That I think is a bit fair. Yeah, so it's giving me all the cities, and you can see here, you can download the CSV. Yeah, it has downloaded the data you want. So just the normal SQL that you have, where you can save the queries, save the results rather. Yeah, so I wanted to recommend a city to me. I want to travel soon. Recommend to me a city and why. A city and tell me why. Yeah, so we should see how it thinks. Yeah, so it has given me Delhi. So I decided to write this query because you mentioned that you are traveling soon and looking for a recommendation for a city to visit. This query retrieves the name of the city with the highest average temperature from the weather data by calculating the average temperature of each city, grouping them together, sorting them in ascending order based on the average temperature, and then limiting to only the top. We can recommend the city with the warmest average temperature, and this is the code. Yeah, so you can see it has recommended to me New Delhi. Yeah, so well, why is it not recommended to me London? It's the coldest. So to some extent it thinks. Yeah. But if you add AI agent, now it will be better. It will have like memory. Yeah, so I think you can implement these in your project. And if you have any suggestion on ways I can improve this, well, this simple one, you can leave me on the comments. If you want to collaborate, you can DM me Simon Gogi at LinkedIn. Yeah, so this will be all for this project. Till next time, bye.